but you know, there's still a number of teams to come in. Let's not discount Team Saxo Tinkoff. Orica-GreenEdge are very good at the team time trial.
This is Alberto Contador, one of the best climbers in the world. Now he has to get on with the job of hanging on to his team. He's really working hard here.
Yes, well, he's got a strong squad now. This is the former individual time trial champion of France, creating on that occasion a little bit of a surprise because he beat the outright favourite, Sylvain Chavanel, and everybody wondered how a mountain biker could come up and all of a sudden beat Chavanel. Well, there are only 5 teams now left to start. The next team that will climb up into the starting house will be the Australian team, Orica-GreenEdge. I think, Phil, they will be on the crest of a wave after yesterday's performance. And here are Orica-GreenEdge.
Down the slopes for Orica-GreenEdge. They wanted something to show in Corsica. Well, the first thing they didn't want to show was when the team bus got stuck under the finishing banner just before the race came in. But a disaster was averted with about 5 or 6 minutes to go. Then came the great result yesterday with Simon Gerrans beating Peter Sagan in a tight sprint finish, and up into 3rd place overall now, Simon Gerrans. So if they were to set the best time, they would put Simon Gerrans in the yellow jersey, and that would be fantastic. But it'll be a tough one as we look at Saxo Tinkoff here.
This is a very famous Promenade des Anglais, which hosts the famed Hotel El Negresco, as they go under 3 kilometers to go. Well, that is a magnificent position of Alberto Contador there, locked solid in the middle of his aerodynamic handlebars. They are riding here, Phil, in excess of 65 kilometers an hour. That's like 44 miles an hour almost. It's amazing, of course. But now it's Orica-GreenEdge who look to be challenging the time of Omega Pharma Quick-Step.
Well, this is amazing. If this is the case with the Australians, then you can look towards the man who won yesterday pulling yellow on tonight. There's the time of Omega Pharma. A little bit further to go. On this left hand is where the clock stops. 3 seconds they're looking for. 13.19 for the Australian setup. So out on course now. There's just a few teams left to finish. The Europcar team, they'll be the team next to come into the finish.
As they say, if you get a good ride in the slipstream, you can save up to 35% of the energy that the rider in front of you is dispensing. Yeah, those two teams, BMC Racing and Team Radio Shack. We're now here on the shoulders of Radio Shack, of Orica-GreenEdge, I should say. They will be buoyed, Phil, by the fact that they got themselves that victory yesterday, but they've got a mixture here of youth, the next wave of Australian cyclists with guys like Cam Meyer coming to the fore here, but also they've got the experience of Stuart O'Grady, who, by the way, is riding his 17th Tour de France, and that is amazing. It may well be that Orica-GreenEdge could spoil the party this afternoon for Omega Pharma Quick-Step.
Well, we're going to find out now, Paul, aren't we? As we look at the team here, this is the arrival of Orica-GreenEdge. The rider wearing 183 in red is Simon Clark, because he was in that leading group all day yesterday. In the end, it worked out for Simon Gerrans, and this could be a good time. I'm not sure it's going to reach Pharma Quick-Step.
It's going to be very, very close indeed, because they are riding about 60 kilometers an hour. It takes 60 seconds to cover the last kilometer, and they went through that kilometer kite there exactly 1 minute to go to the finish. So it'll be 1 second for them or 1 second behind. It's going to be so close.
If they have pulled this one off, this would be a huge coup. I think they can see the clock now as they fight on here. They're coming to the line with 6 riders. They only need 5 for the time, and the most important thing is that if they set the best time, that man there, Simon Gerrans, going through, would be the leader of the Tour de France, assuming the riders behind don't beat this time. It is going to be desperately close. They know how close they are. Look at the faces as they drive up towards the line. They've got 5, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4, 3. They're sitting up as they hit the line. They have done it by 0.75 of a second. Paul, that is an outstanding performance. This is the situation now at the finish. This is Simon Gerrans. Fingers crossed for Simon Gerrans now. Is he going to be the next Australian to wear the maillot jaune? He's got to wait a little while yet.
5 meters off the bat.
Only one team now left to come in, Radio Shack. Nobody can hide in the team time trial. It's a tough side of the sport. But I think Simon Gerrans now realizes it's all over. The celebrations are about to begin.
It's not a great time, one has to say, by Radio Shack either, as they come up to the line, because for Andy Schleck, he is losing more than a minute. This is very, very special for Orica-GreenEdge. Last year, when the first ever Australian team came into being, they won just about everything except a stage in the Tour de France. So this year, this is what they wanted. Matthew got there, realizing the time isn't good enough. Dal Impey on the right, Matt White, the coach, with the glasses on. Cameron Meyer, the youngster in his first tour, all smiles in the background. Neil Stevens on the right, former stage winner himself for the Tour de France. This is the moment. And let me remind you, the only other Australians ever to wear the yellow jersey: Phil Anderson, Stuart O'Grady, Bradley McGee, Robbie McEwen, and of course the only Australian to win the Tour de France, Cadel Evans. They just don't believe how they've turned this race around in the last 48 hours.